All right, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Saito Design School Design Quick Bite Sessions. All right, so I am very excited for today's because we have a very special guest here with us. Before that, let me introduce myself. My name is Eric Lim, Saito Design School Program Directors for Digital Media and also Graphic Design. All right, so joining us today actually is our alumni, Mr. Kelvin Koo, right? He was graduate at this 2015. Currently, is the head of design of one of the leading digital interactive design agency. Let's welcome Kelvin Koo. Hi, Kelvin Koo. How are you?
Hi. Good. I'm good.
All right, good to
Thanks
have
for
you
the
here.
introduction.
Yeah, and thank you very much for joining us today. And then maybe I will start with the questions. All right, how did you get here? And then you can give us a very brief or short introductions of your career pathway in these digital medias or interactive design,
Yep.
right? Okay, so I'll pass the floor to you, Kelvin.
Can. Yeah. I actually took. I mean, as Eric already mentioned, I actually joined Saito in 2013. I took up multimedia design, and I graduated in 2015. And then from there, I actually pursued a degree in graphic communications design, for another 2.5 years. And from there, I actually my first job was a advertising agency. From then, and yeah, currently I have about three years of working experience in the corporate world. And this is I'm currently heading a design department at Monster Interactive, as mentioned as well. So that's a very brief pathway from my career pathway, as it were.
All right. So while Kelvin is talking, probably he will share some of the slides about his work, also his some of the portfolios, right? So let the students know, or those who would like to know what is interactive media is about this industry, right? So before we come into these works and about this industry, let's chat with Kelvin about his fondest memory of Saito many years ago, right?
Hmm.
Okay.
Fondest memory of Saito. I would say it's definitely moving from one building to another, because of Saito actually has a couple of studios and offices around the vicinity. And usually when you have classes of different subjects, we tend to have to move from one building to the other, and that's pretty interesting. It's like a city campus, basically. So you're
Yeah.
constantly moving from place to the other, and you moving your friends. Although those parts are actually one of the fondest memories I have, because
All right.
it's pretty much our everyday lives there. And yeah, it's really interesting, I would say.
All right. All right. Okay. So for those who don't know, Kelvin actually he's also one of the best drummer in Saito University College last time. Right. He played drum and also guitar as well, right?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. I think those time I was a music club advisor, right? So we used to jam. Of course, those are before MCO lah. Before this
Yeah,
pandemic, right?
yeah.
So we beside a lot of these, I think homework or assignments from lecturers. I think we also have those, time together with students and lecturers as well,
Yep,
right?
rehearsals,
So,
jammings. Yeah.
okay, cool. All right, now I think I will let this Kelvin to share his slide. Let Kelvin take over this.
Yep.
All right. So the next questions we would like to ask is this one a bit serious, but anyway, why should young people study graphic or digital media, and how is the design industry like today? Right, since Kelvin have involved in this industry for many years, and then I think maybe you can share some of these for our potential students or for those who like to explore about digital medias. All right.
Yep. All right. For me personally, I would say that this is a very fluid and flexible course, as it were, because in design you're not really bound to like a square box, or it's not really about 1 plus 1 is 2. When it comes to design, it's very flexible. You can, in a way, bend the rules here and there. You can put in a lot of different elements from yourself into design. It's very subjective, basically. It's a very vast and fluid field. That's where pretty much where anything is possible. So
Yeah.
I will start with that, because this is something that I always like to pride myself as a designer, because we are basically putting ourselves out there, for the world to see, in a way. Our designs, our collaterals that we produce is basically something that we are proud of. And when you see your work getting published in the corporate world or in the public, the satisfaction is pretty much indescribable for me at least. Yeah, because
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah,
because in the
because
advertising world you are
mm,
handling works for clients and for the general public to see. And yeah, I would say that's pretty much that's where the satisfaction comes from.
yeah. Before I embarked my career into this academic, I also worked for about more than 10 years. I think you're right. The reward is not only the financial reward, of course, but there's also a lot of these, satisfactions of seeing your creative work published, right?
Yep.
All right. So maybe you just can talk about some of the workflow in these, comparing to different agency
Yep.
or with the different projects. Maybe you
Yep.
can share part of it. Yeah.
Can. So as you can see some of the slides that I have here. So this is just some of the works that I've done. This one is actually a personal project that I collaborated with WWE to. It's basically an awareness program, awareness campaign to talk about how the environment is in a way deteriorating over the years because of how careless we are as human beings. So this is something that it's like a campaign that we want to in a way strike, I would say, fear into the general public to let them know that it's not too late, but at the same time we also need to be aware of what's happening around us. So this is just like a small PSA campaign to
Maybe you
tell the
can
world
elaborate
what's
what is the PSA. Maybe some of the students they don't know what is PSA about.
Yeah, it's basically public service announcement. It's basically something to tell the world about something that is important
Yeah.
in a way. It's like
There's a
something
message.
there's an urgency right there. Basically, it's not just something
Mm,
I tell you just for you to know, but there's an urgency behind it. So
understand.
so yeah, this one this is a project that I'm pretty proud of. That because I actually managed to collaborate with WWE, sorry.
So there
WWE.
is a style. There's a style on this particular, visual or the style of it. Is there any? It looks like a 2D, but it
Yep.
looks very. I think there's a sense of aesthetic there, right?
Yeah, there is a term for this. This is actually called flat design.
Yeah.
So it's basically a vector and illustration style, but it's not 3D as well. So we don't. I don't really deal with any 3D here. So it's basically everything that's illustration and it's all flat. So but the design is in a way where it looks a little bit like a 3D, but it's actually considered 2D still. Yeah.
Yeah, I think in Saito courses right now we have either digital media or these diploma levels. I think they have also 2D animation and 3D animations.
Yep.
So even with 2D, actually with the right compositions, right, it can be very attractive. And then the communication is effective as well, I think.
Yep.
Right? And not much text there, but I think this is what visual communication about.
Yeah. So there's the first example. Second example is something like, so this is something a bit more corporate, a bit more, not too flashy, but this is something that it's also in a way is quite satisfying because we are also dealing with, like I said, actual general public clients. So this is something that will be sort of in a way published into the general public to see. So stuff like this is the things we have to deal with the clients usually. So we have to meet the expectations based on the different clients, because in advertising agencies we are not only dealing with one or two clients, you're dealing with many different clients. So every client has their own different expectations, have their own needs, have their own style basically. So our job as a designer in this industry is basically to try to meet their needs, but also try to put our elements of designs inside to in a way make them stand out in their own ways. So understanding each brand individually is very important. So this one you can see. Yeah, as you can see, this one is a bit more. We're trying to portray a feeling of elegance, a feeling of premium, so that people know that this is something that it's not something that is very casual, but it's something that we're trying to say that it's it exudes elegance basically. So.
All right. So the first one you showcase actually is a PSA, and then this one actually is a more towards commercial, right? A product.
Correct. Yep.
So I think the look and feel is like, very elegant as well. Very different style. It's actual products there.
Yep.
Maybe in design we call this something very representative, and then with emotive contents, right? For them to convey the joy, of sharing things.
It's very product driven, basically.
Yeah, but is this integrated? I mean, after they post it onto the social media, And do they have any other area integrating with this commercial?
Sometimes we have to adapt into multiple places. Sometimes we adapt into like a GIF with some animation, you know.
Yeah.
So all these are in a way expected, because in this agency not everything is just static. So a lot of times we have to turn things into a bit more, a bit more like an animation style to make it a bit more lively, basically. So by like I said, it all comes down to the client, whether is that something they want, is that something that resonates with their brand,
Yeah.
because not every brand likes to have things moving, because sometimes they want to just keep it nice and static. But yeah, like I
Understood.
said, it comes down to the client. So
All right. So I think because Monster Interactive is this integrated marketing agency, right? That's why I think what Kevin said just now. Actually, they always integrating with other medias as well, right?
Yep.
That's why when you study a course, especially in digital medias or multimedia, you might have to handle a few different tools, right?
Yep.
Maybe Photoshop, Illustrators, even have these After Effects, right? Premiere
Yep.
Pro. So I think because of the needs, right? You cannot just
Correct.
show one mediums and then targets to different audience,
Yep.
right? Okay. So you can move on to other works, Kevin.
Yeah. This is just some other examples of like the corporate works that I've done. So like you have something that it's a bit more fun, a bit more playful, and then on the right when you have something a bit more, you have a mix of both in a way.
Mm.
So it's really about understanding clients and their identity, basically. So yeah, these are some of the brands that are probably well known, around. And this is just something a bit more different. So it's a bit more playful, it's a bit more cheerful, lighthearted, all these kind of things. And then on the other hand, you have another kind of very, very different style. It's just pretty much vectors and less realistic. So yeah, you have a
So,
lot of different.
yeah, I think last time I saw that one is Gatsby, right? So one
Yeah.
of the world-renowned brand for personal care, right? I think
Yeah.
hair care.
Yeah, hair care,
I think
facial
those are
care.
very vibrant, the colors, right? That's what Kelvin says. Like some of them is very, very, very premium, the jewelry, right? And
Yeah.
also to have something very fun. And this one actually is, I think, is monocolor, just blue and white.
Yeah, correct. So their
Very,
brand
very
also
minimal.
is correct. So this is also another fairly well-known coffee workshop place that they also like to provide trainings and whatnot. So this one is also a very this is it's a style more dear to me. This I would say this kind of flat design, monochromatic style resonates a bit more with me. That's why sometimes my design you see a bit more of this kind of this kind of style.
So involved in all these different projects with different style, right? I mean, you picked up all these skill while you are in school, right?
Mhm.
You build some basic, but when you work, and I think you learn a lot as well with different client probably, right?
Yeah.
Clientele.
Yeah, definitely. I would say in studies is where we actually get exposed to the different sides of design. You learn like Eric said, animations. You learn 2D, you learn 3D, you learn photography, videography, and so on. So these are the things. These are the times where you are exposed into all these new genres of design. And then when you go into the working world, that's where you actually that's where you sharpen your skills. You are continue. There's the learning journey is continuous. There's no end to it, basically. So it's all about exposing yourself to new genres and new design fields, and then sharpening your skills from there. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's why I think in Saito, in our modules, actually we actually work with different company, including Monster Interactive, just to let the student have the exposure of like what Kelvin said, industry exposure, right?
Yep.
It will open your mind and also it will heighten your skill, so that it's industrial standard kind of quality, right? So I
Yep.
think it's important to all these different clients or industry experiences. Yeah, I like to see this because the thing is kind of the stroke is very casual. It looks authentic in a sense, right? Not everything must be flat or straight,
Yeah.
right? Sometimes can be like hand draw kind of
Correct.
things. Cool.
So for this one, it's more like straight to the point. Kind of.
All right.
This is also another slightly different art style. So this one's a bit more, it's also like flat design, but a little bit more 3D, but it's still within the 2D genre. So this one is like a promotional banner for another. This one is actually for a mall.
Is it
For
because of color or anything? I think the fonts as well, right? The first
yeah,
glance within 1 second you can see that it's Oriental.
Yeah.
Something
So this
related
one,
to
we
Chinese.
play a bit more on textures. We play a bit more on gradients and shadows. That's why to give the idea of like a 3D, but in the end of the day, we're still using 2D medium to create this. So it's really about playing around with the different things that design offers to us. So it's very flexible. That's one of the things that I like about design. There's a lot of things you can do within a single application, a single software, basically.
Okay. So in school, probably when I was your typography lecturer, I'll tell you this is casual script, right? It's a variable stroke, right? But this is a theory, right? But when I apply it, I think you become more and more expert. I can see that lah. With from the first slide you shown, right? You can see that you actually execute it so good, right? I mean, with all the different composition and different style as well. So
Yep.
it's image with even the fonts itself. You want to talk about typography, maybe about these compositions?
Yeah, I
This
mean typography. I would say at the end of the day, it comes down to how you the layout of it. How you put them together, how you mix around with different typography, because some typography works very well with another typography. So it's all about understanding how the different font works. How whether sans serif works with serif or that kind of very technical terms. But the more you do, the more you understand how font works together and how to arrange them together and how to make it aesthetically pleasing, basically, to the eyes. And yeah, like I said, again and again, it's very flexible. There's endless possibilities when it comes to layouts, when it comes to design. So that's the fun part. It's really about learning and progressing through failures and trial and errors. So yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Because you are actually there's more than, I think if some free fonts they provide you 6,000 fonts to choose from, right?
Yep.
So that's a challenge. But for Kelvin, actually, it's a fun challenge for him to choose the right one to match, right? Mix and match.
Yep.
All right. Maybe is there any other slides you want to show?
That's all.
That's all.
It's a
Okay. I
brief.
think because it's quick bite, so you're going to make this session a bit shorter.
Yeah.
So the last question to Kelvin is, of course, with your experience, I think you can actually advise these current Saito Design School students or anyone who interested in this digital media or interactive media industry, right? Because I think according to IDEX, it's worth more than 230 millions. Right? Everyone spend this amount of advertising budget on this medium. So maybe you can advise them, is it good to involve in this? Is this time or what's the industry like? Maybe some advices so that the student have some of the direction whether they should choose this course or they should choose graphic design. There's a different within digital media and graphic design, right?
Yeah, sure. I would say definitely now, especially during like this in times of pandemic, brands are off. I wouldn't say forced, but a lot of them are in a way needing to adapt into having a digital presence because when everyone is staying at home and not going out, a lot of times the only marketing tool is basically through the internet. And how do you market yourself through the internet is basically having a digital presence. So what I mean by digital presence is basically having your brand out in the internet for you to publicize it to the world. So if any brand, even pre-pandemic times, even though those who are not needing any digital presence, they are in a way they have to have a digital presence now because there's I would say um, a main time to focus and to survive in this time, especially because times are a bit tough, definitely. But in this industry, it's definitely I would say it's really booming because of the need and the demands of having digital presence for brands, plenty of brands out there. So definitely, in a way, this industry is definitely growing, even in times like this pandemic. But so yeah.
So I think the students or those who study on these digital media just have to be one of the best in a sense, right? So I think the startup company need digital medias. The Shopee or Lazada, they need these designers as well. So as long as you equip with the right education, right, you train with the right school or design school, I think you should be able to find the right pathway for you.
Yeah,
And then
and when you
even shine your career
mention
path.
Yep. And when you mention like multimedia and graphic design, that one I would say is definitely all comes down to preference because that when it comes to these kind of things, there's no right or wrong. It's really about preference. Whether you like to dive yourself more into more interactive stuff and like more like videography, photography. Those are more geared towards like multimedia. Whereas if you're talking about a bit more like, you're playing around with like illustrations, layouts, and all that kind of things, those are a bit more geared towards graphic design. So when it comes to the end of the day, it's all about preference. It's about learning about which course offers what, and then to suit your need. So yeah.
Yeah. All right. So for those interested on these courses, all right, we have digital media in degree. We have also these graphic design degree. We also have these diploma in graphic design and also multimedia. Like what Kelvin said just now, right? It's according to your preference. But to know more about this, you can always contact these counselor later. I'll put at the end of the show some of the contact numbers and also email. And then I think probably Kevin can be part of a consulting team once a while, right? To know,
Sure.
what is the industry, talk about this digital media or graphic design, right? So thanks again, Kelvin, for your presence today, and we're glad to have you here.
No
I
problem.
think after the MCO is more open. I mean the off MCO, we can have a jam session probably.
Yeah. Looking forward to that.
Yeah. So thank you again, Kevin. So we will
Yep.
proceed to the next section, which we will show you our contact numbers or some of the courses available. Okay. So see you, Kevin.
All right. Thank
Thanks.
you. See you. Bye bye.
Bye bye. So Saito Design School is part of Saito University College. We are the first graphic design school in Malaysia, and we believe in creating opportunities, transforming lives for those who study with us. As you can see in design school, we offer actually courses from diploma to foundation and also to degree level. So in degree, we have graphic design and digital media. For diploma, we also have graphic design and multimedia design and interior design. And for foundation in design, actually this one is FOC, means free of charge, when you continue with us for these degree courses. Right? If you have any further inquiries regarding the courses, you can always email us at this email address and also these contact numbers. Right? You can also scan our QR code and visit these Facebook and have more information from there. All right. So thank you very much again, everyone. Hope to see you again. Bye bye.